Have you ever been thrown out of your parents' house with 20 kilos of insects? I found myself in this situation about 4 years ago. Some friends and I had discovered that insects are a great protein source and an ecological alternative to meat. So we started a breeding facility in my parents' basement. Now, insects multiply fast, so very soon we had a lot of them. And we discovered that as housemates, they're not so great. If you remember the warm feeling you have in the south of France with crickets chirping in the background, it's not the same when they're a few meters from where you sleep. So we had to move out. At the same time, I discovered that as a bioengineer, there's in fact not many places where I can go with 20 kilos of insects or to apply my skills to a societal goal. Outside of academia and industry, there's not many places where I can go. I met a friend who was looking for new ways of doing science communication. We met up, we put our ideas and our heads together, and we came up with the concept of an open biolab. An open biolab is a lab where anyone from any background can come and do stuff with biosciences. This may seem insignificant or maybe a bit alien to you, but today I want to share 3 lessons I've learned from doing this that may help us rise to today's biggest challenges. Now, my friend and I started scheming, making plans, drafting flowcharts for week after week, meeting up. But finally we decided we're just going to go to a local fab lab and pitch our idea. They liked the idea and they gave us a vacant room. Now, I arrived in that room with a backpack and a plank and a mission: to build the first open biolab in Flanders. We met week after week with a community of dedicated people with the same mission. We started building and soldering. We started getting pieces donated by companies. And we started filling our vacant room with equipment. Now, it was in that time where people were really putting energy into it. It was at that time, at the peak of our energy, and also when our room was pretty full, that we got a great gift. We got a basement. And we moved into this basement, and we filled it with all our stuff, and in all our excitement, we were already doing experiments. We couldn't wait. Now, this basement was dirty, very dirty. When you scrubbed the floor, more dirt would seem to come out of it. There was this constant vague smell of mushroom in the air. And in the heating system, there was a swarm of mosquitoes hiding out every season of the year. But soon people started coming and interacting with us. And artists came and they started using biology as a new medium to express themselves. And citizens came and they asked questions about their environment. They were wondering about air quality and about water quality. And starting entrepreneurs came to test out ideas in our lab. People from many different backgrounds came together to deepen their understanding of the world and make something to maybe have an impact. What do you think was our most important piece of equipment in that lab? Was it the incubator that we used to grow bacteria? Or the Bunsen burner we used to sterilize our equipment? No, it was not those things. In fact, it was our sofa. Because on our sofa, people talked and people exchanged ideas. On that sofa, people grew a sense of community, a sense of togetherness. It's the same feeling you get when you go out with your group of best friends or when you meet people with the same passion. And that's my first lesson I want to share with you today, is that community is an important ingredient for change. Without it, it risks being superficial. If it were not for the amazing people that joined us, I would not be here at all today. Now, as our community grew, people started developing an interest in education. As trained bioengineers, many of us were a bit disappointed with the level in lower education. So we developed a lot of educational content, and we taught hundreds of children and teachers. One day, when we were thinking we were doing a pretty good job, we were approached by someone who was working with youth from difficult contexts, from problematic families. And that's when we realized many people don't find the door to our open lab. Openness and inclusiveness are not the same. We really liked the sessions that we did with them, so we decided to focus on these groups where we could have the biggest impact. We started working with problematic teens, with people with mental and physical disabilities, and people generally left out of science somehow. And what we learned was that science was not only about growing a logical understanding of the world, it was also about a feeling of belonging. And it was also about a feeling of being deemed worthy. I have a very clear memory of a colleague of mine visiting the coordinator of a mental institution to propose that we do workshops with their people. And he was told that nobody had ever deemed their people worthy of doing science. And this was amazing to us. We were baffled. And that is my second lesson that I want to share. Go out and find a group that's not involved in what you're doing and engage with them. We became better researchers and better educators and better designers because of it. For developments in our society, to truly serve everyone, we must also involve everyone. And my third lesson is a personal story of mine. One day in the lab, I had a chance encounter. An architect came in with a question. She had been living 1 year without waste at that point, but she couldn't apply these values in her work. As a designer of bridges, she could not make a zero-waste bridge. We put our heads together, and we had a hunch where the solution could lie. We looked into biology. We combined our research and design expertise to set up a project and to research the potential of biomaterials. Biomaterials are materials that are biodegradable and often even based on waste. Now, we made progress, we did experiments, and we developed products, and even got some to market with partners. Now, it didn't go fast enough. We thought we could go faster, and we decided to employ the tactics that we knew. We decided to share our knowledge and build a community around the biomaterials. We hosted workshops, we shared recipes, and soon hundreds of people got ignited with the same flame as we did. More and more people joined us, and hundreds of people became thousands of people. We launched an online forum, and it got out of our control. Today, in this very moment, there's thousands of people sharing recipes online on biomaterials. Now, this has given us a deeper insight into what biology can mean in people's life and in society. We asked ourselves the question, would a biodegradable world be just a zero-waste version of what we know? We think the answer is different. Imagine if your favorite reading chair was biodegradable and it was programmed to degrade after 3 years of trusty service. How would you feel towards this chair? Would you be happy owning it? What if it was produced using just some water, a bacteria, and the leftovers from your previous chair? Would you grow it at home? How would the furniture factory look like? Actually, how would a biodegradable house look like? What if your house was meant to degrade after 30 years? Would you happily invest your savings into this house? How would the real estate market look like? Is this going to be the ultimate service economy? We don't know the answer, but we do know that biology in society can mean a whole lot of different things. So we took all of our expertise in looking at society through a biological lens and started a design agency based on the lessons that we learned. And the third lesson that we got out of that is really that to solve today's biggest challenges, we need new approaches to solving problems and new solutions, and we think we can find them in the biological world. When you design products, look if you can use biological resources. And if you design services, look at how nature would do it. Now, 4 years ago, I was stuck with 20 kilos of orphan insects. And after that, I learned about community, I learned about involving people, and I learned about looking at the world through a biological lens. And this makes me hopeful. This makes me hopeful because others too can pick a challenge and build on what we've learned and go outside and act. Thank you.